Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Across platforms, the same quiet images keep resurfacing. Foyers without queues, posters curling at the corners, ushers straightening leaflets no one takes. Viewers do not need spreadsheets to sense a turning of the tide. They read the room instinctively. Some speak of a pause in confidence, others of a long exhale after years of relentless hype. The conversation is not only about numbers, it is about texture. The feeling of Friday nights without a reason to dress up, the absence of those small rituals that gave weeks a rhythm. People are careful to distinguish between verified figures and circulating claims, yet the mood is hard to dispute. When theaters look like waiting rooms, a question forms. What exactly have we lost? Many suggest the answer lies in a bundle of shifts rather than a single cause. Streaming has made the living room comfortable again. A vast library is a persuasive companion for tired eyes. Investment has grown more cautious, encouraging safer commissions and narrowing the range of stories that reach us. Oversight plays a vital role in any culture, but when creators second-guess every shade of feeling, audiences sense it on screen. The result is not outrage so much as drift, an accumulation of small hesitations that keep people at home. For older viewers, there is also a deeper ache. Cinemas were never only about spectacle. They were a social commons where strangers laughed and fell silent together. When that space thins out, the loss feels personal. And yet, the mood is not purely bleak. In letters to editors, in measured comment threads, a different current runs. A desire for clarity and craft, for worker welfare that is not performative, for stories that treat emotion as something earned rather than engineered. People do not ask for perfection. They ask to be moved honestly. This is why a single name can become a candle in a windy room. It is not that one tragedy explains everything, but that it concentrates many anxieties into a human scale. Viewers respond with restraint as well as feeling. They ask for careful language, for allegations to remain allegations until established, for reforms that are practical rather than punitive. They want the lights to rise on better practices as much as on better films. If a winter is here, they seem to say, let us use it wisely, prune what is weak, protect what is tender, and make the next spring worthy of our return. Behind every poster that fades in a theater lobby is a ledger written not in numbers but in lives. When production slows, the first entries are small and ordinary. A makeup artist who downsizes to a single kit and learns to stretch brushes a little longer. A location scout who returns borrowed keys and takes a part-time shift at a hardware store because the smell of timber steadies him. A third assistant director who sets a silent alarm for 4:30 a.m. out of habit, then lies awake because there is no call sheet to meet. These are not sensational stories. They are the grain of working life in the arts, where the calendar once swung between punishing weeks and breathless relief, and where a pause now lingers. People adapt with a professionalism that often goes unseen. A gaffer memorizes safety regs, recalibrates lux levels on a small commercial job, and teaches younger colleagues how to coil cable without kinking it. A costume supervisor catalogs a decade of garments and rents them to student films, insisting on proper credit and insurance because dignity is built one contract at a time. Actors, those whose faces we remember and those we never quite can, take voice work and script readings, give workshops in community halls, and discover that craft distilled to its basics can still pay a bill and quiet a doubt. What changes first is not ambition but tempo. Without a set to move through, time dilates. People notice the precise blue of early morning, keep a notebook by the kettle, rehearse alone in rooms where applause will never arrive. The resilience looks practical from the outside. From the inside it is moral. It says, the work mattered before you saw it, and it will matter after because doing it carefully is a way of refusing cynicism. Older audiences recognize this instinct. They have lived through layoffs and retrainings and know that identity is not only a title. It is a method, a standard you keep when no one is watching. So the human ledger accumulates its quiet credits. A prop master returns a ring found on a dusty backlit to the day player who lost it years ago. A stunt coordinator rewrites a training plan to protect joints that cannot be replaced. A writer sends a thank you to the tea runner who learned exactly when to interrupt. None of these gestures sells a ticket. All of them remind us that culture is not glamour but care. A chain of competence and consideration, passed hand to hand, that keeps the light steady until the story begins again. Trust does not break with a single noise. It thins fiber by fiber, in rooms where decisions are made but explanations are not. Viewers are willing to forgive missteps and even poor seasons, but they struggle with silence. When processes feel opaque, how a project is greenlit, why a script is altered, who is protected when harm is alleged, the space between audience and industry fills with guesswork. Claims of unspoken rules circulate not only because people love scandal, but because they sense an information vacuum. In that vacuum, every coincidence seems purposeful, every delay looks tactical, and a tragic name can become a shorthand for larger anxieties. Responsible voices remind us to separate claims from confirmed facts and to keep a strict regard for due process. Yet the emotional truth remains. Trust depends on visible safeguards, not reassurances issued after the fact. Oversight is essential in any culture. It sets boundaries that protect the vulnerable and uphold standards. But inside a pressure cooker, even protection can feel constriction if it is not accompanied by clarity. When creators begin to anticipate invisible fences, stories retreat into safe corridors. Audiences notice the air growing thinner. The fracture is rarely dramatic. It shows up as small hesitations. A postponement here, an unexplained casting change there, a muted press conference that leaves more questions than it answers. For older viewers who have worked in structured organizations, the lesson is familiar. Systems earn credibility by publishing the rules, enforcing them consistently, and admitting when they fall short. Repair begins where opacity ends. Transparent audition notices and conflict of interest disclosures reduce the temptation to imagine what happens off stage. Duty of care protocols, independent reporting lines, timestamp case handling, medical rest standards turn good intentions into predictable practice. Clear creative guidelines, drafted with artists rather than imposed upon them, help oversight protect without suffocating. None of this requires naming unverified individuals or indulging in accusation. It requires paperwork, timelines, and the courage to let sunlight in. A single story cannot carry the weight of an entire industry, yet a single loss can focus the mind. When audiences speak of a long winter, they are not demanding perfection. They are asking to see the map by which decisions are made and the doors through which people can safely knock. Trust is built the unglamorous way. Publish the process, show the audit, keep the promise. Do that consistently and the temperature drops in the pressure cooker. People breathe more easily and stories have room to live. Why are seats empty? Analysts point to a bundle of factors rather than a single cause. First, global viewing behavior shifted. Streaming libraries, smart TVs, and fast broadband keep people comfortable at home. Second, risk-averse financing can narrow the range of stories reaching screens. Audiences may drift when options feel predictable. Third, when trust wobbles, people hesitate to spend. Press coverage from many countries has noted similar dynamics. Cinemas rebounding unevenly after health crises, platforms trimming originals, and middling projects squeezed between tentpoles and micro-budget gems. China's market is large and complex. Reports suggest that policy, investment appetites, and content approvals all interact. A cautious environment can protect important standards, but it can also inadvertently discourage nuance. Romance that tackles real emotions, social dramas with texture, or historical pieces that ask difficult questions responsibly. Across Asia, Europe, and the Americas, festivals often serve as greenhouses for brave ideas, later scaled by studios. Viewers write that a healthy ecosystem needs both mainstream spectacles and carefully tended art house. When those coexist, the lobby fills again, because audiences don't just buy tickets, they buy the promise of being moved. If winter is here, how do we prepare for spring? Rather than argue in circles, let's imagine doable steps that audiences can understand and support. Transparent casting boards. A public dashboard for open roles and extras, time-stamped, helping to reduce rumor and widen access. Duty of care ombuds. Independent, confidential channels with annual anonymized reports. already common in other industries. Health and hours charters. Caps on daily hours, defined rest windows, and fatigue monitoring. Basic in aviation and increasingly discussed on sets. Creative trust windows. Scheduled periods where creators and reviewers co-design frameworks for sensitive themes, allowing honest but responsible storytelling. Crew participation bonuses. Small milestone shares for non-star crew when streaming or box office thresholds are met, aligning success across the call sheet. Audience signal badges. Platforms label productions that adopt these standards, so viewers can vote with their watch lists. None of this blames, all of it builds. And because older audiences value craftsmanship, a visible stamp of welfare and integrity could be the most persuasive marketing of all. Amid the noise, there's quiet excellence. Modest dramas with real heart, documentaries that heal, actors mentoring new talent without a camera in sight. If we want a better industry, we must also feed what's good, watch, review, and recommend. Hope doesn't trend, but it endures. Yu Menglong's name surfaced in a storm of grief, questions, and longing for fairness. Whether or not his story triggered a collapse, it certainly clarified what audiences value. Dignity for workers, courage in storytelling, and the simple right to feel safe at work. If a winter has arrived, then spring is a choice, made by writers, crews, investors, and by us, the audience. If today's conversation resonated, please subscribe to Update X24H, tap the bell, and share this video with someone who cares about film, fairness, and the future of storytelling. Thank you for watching. Your time and voice genuinely matter. Stay kind, stay curious, and see you in the next episode.